Thank you, Terry, for those kind remarks. Bishop Amos, Sister Joan, members of the Platform Party, members of the Board of Trustees, family, friends, faculty, and staff, and graduates. St. Ambrose was not always a university, it was also St. Ambrose College. Back at that time, there was a theology professor who taught religion for about 110 years. He always gave a one-question final exam and never varied. Name the 7 kings of Israel. Now, in his 111th year of teaching, he suspected that some of the students were passing that question on to future classes. So when the students at the end of the term walked into his final exam, there was a single question: name the 10 commandments. Now, at that point, it was as if all the oxygen had been sucked from that room. The students were frozen, they turned pale, and one by one, they got up, crumpled their test, threw it in the wastebasket, and left, except for one young man who worked feverishly for the entire 2 hours of the test period. He finished, turned in his paper, and left. The teacher eagerly grabbed the paper, and upon it, the student had written, "Dear Professor, I haven't the foggiest idea what the 10 commandments are, but for what it's worth, here are the 7 kings of Israel." Now, graduates, I don't have the foggiest idea what an appropriate commencement speech should be. So, for what it's worth, for the next 5 minutes or less, I'm going to tell you a story. Now, the focus of the story is about a man whose name was Renie Van Brock. Now, Renie Van Brock was God's most perfect creation on earth. Renie did not just read the Bible, Renie lived the Bible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And to put this in perspective, please consider the following. Father Chuck Adam is in charge of the campus ministry at St. Ambrose University. Father Chuck and all of his staff, all of the priests of St. Ambrose, all of the clergy of other faiths and religion, indeed, Bishop Amos, Sister Joan, Monsignor Highland, these folks have all dedicated their lives to our spiritual growth. And yet, their holiness, their combined holiness is a trickle compared to Renie Van Brock's tsunami holiness. And one night, a voice came to Renie in a dream. And the voice said, "Renie Van Brock, you are indeed singular among all my people. I have prepared a place for you in paradise that is many years to come. But Renie, I would like to recognize you now. Renie, what can I give you?" Well, you can imagine what it's like waking in the middle of the night, but he managed to pull himself together, and he said, "Father, I have tried to live my life according to your teachings and your example. I have never been a rich man. Anytime I had any money of any kind, I would immediately call Ed Liddick in the advancement office of St. Ambrose and give every penny of it to St. Ambrose University." I appreciate the responses very much, people, but look, I only have 5 minutes, all right? And I'm down to 4 minutes, 21 seconds. So look, from now on, you're going to have to observe now decorum so that I can get done with the speech and we can go on with the ceremony. And I think you can understand that. Okay. So, Father, the bottom line is this, that what with Christmas coming on, if you could see your way clear, I sure could use a few extra bucks. Well, he woke up the next morning totally ashamed of himself. Here he calls himself a man devoted to God. And yet the first chance he gets to show it, what does he do but think of himself? But he thought, no, this is just a dream. The Father is not going to hold me responsible for that. So he got up, turned on the television, and there was the announcement. Rini Van Brock wins the mega billion-dollar lottery. He was shocked. Ran out and got a newspaper, and there was the headline. Belgian bags billions. Again, if we can hold on. Members of the platform party, you're going to have to help me out here. Would you please show good example on self-control for the rest of the groups so that I can finish the talk on time? Okay, please? Good. Okay. All right, good. Good. Bishop Amos, Sister Joan, don't make me come back there. So he got dressed, and he went out for breakfast. And by the way, you can forget the Hardee's 2 for $3.33. He went to the most expensive restaurant in Davenport, bought the most expensive breakfast he could. He finished that. He said, you know, I need a haircut. Well, he didn't get his hair cut. He got his hair styled. Professional shave, a manicure. And when he was looking in the mirror, he thought, you know, these clothes are threadbare. Well, you know what happened. He was off to the most upscale men's store in Davenport. A $3,000 silk suit, $500 pair of shoes, $300 shirt, $200 tie. I'm telling you, folks, he looked like $1 billion. He was a totally new man. You would not recognize him. And as he left the store, he looked across the street, and he saw it. The 2012 Jaguar Special Limited Model. The end of the road, the top of the mountain. And as he was crossing the street to get to the dealership, he neither saw nor heard the lightning bolt which struck him like a lightning bolt. And as he lay there dying, he looked up to heaven and he said, Father, how could you do this to me? My whole existence has been devoted to you. And just when I get a taste of the good life, you let this happen. Father, how could you? Why? And the same voice that came to him in the dream returned and said, Rini, is that you? Oh, Rini, I'm so sorry. Rini, I didn't recognize you. I didn't know you. Now, graduates, I am not a psychic, but there are about 20 people sitting behind me and several hundred in front of me, and you're all thinking the same thing. Where in heaven's name is he going with this thing? Now, graduates, you have worked hard. You have made sacrifices, and your families have made sacrifices. You've achieved your goal, and you are to be sincerely congratulated. And I would like to leave you today with two thoughts. Number one, don't be afraid of that world out there. You're going to find your career path. You are going to do well. I know that. And number two, you're going to come back and see us. Now, I don't know when, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but you'll come back to St. Ambrose. And when you come back, you're going to say, Father Chuck, gee, it's been a long time since I've been here. I know you don't remember me, but... And Father Chuck is going to say, well, of course I remember you. All the years you were at St. Ambrose, taking part in the Antioch retreats, working for Habitat for Humanity, giving up your spring vacation to help us with the David School in the Appalachians. And now you're doing the same thing in Chicago at your own church, working with the homeless, working with youth. Not know you? I'll always know you. Sister Joan, gee, it's been a long time since I got my graduate degree. I know you don't recognize me anymore. And Sister Joan will say, well, of course I recognize you. When you were getting that graduate degree and you didn't have any time, you made the time to become part of the Graduate Student Council, to make St. Ambrose a better institution. And now you're on the city council in Des Moines doing exactly the same thing for that city. Not know you? I'll always know you. And I'll always be proud that you're an Ambrosian. The saddest thing, graduates, for Father Chuck, Bishop Amos, Sister Joan, all of us in the St. Ambrose family, is for you to come back to us, and we don't know you. We don't recognize you anymore. The values that surrounded you at St. Ambrose have been replaced by other values. Your ethics and your ethical standards replaced by clawing your way to the top, no matter who it hurts, no matter what the cost, no matter what lies you have to tell to get there. Your dedication to peace and justice replaced by suspicion, fear, bigotry, and probably the worst, your caring and your compassion, replaced by turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to those who are desperately crying out for your help, especially those who are too weak and sick to cry out. So, graduates, to borrow the words of Rennie Van Brock, remember Elizabeth, Lauren, Claire, Margaret, Gabrielle? He was a very holy man. To borrow the words of Rennie Van Brock, here's the bottom line. When you come back to see us, you don't have to come in a $3,000 silk suit. You don't have to come back driving the latest luxury car. The only thing we ask is that you come back to us believing in and practicing the same values which you believed in and practiced when you were a student at St. Ambrose. Values which you know in your heart and soul are right. Values which we, the St. Ambrose family, treasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Oh, I'm sorry. Boy, at my age, you just forget. Look, graduates, if you do win the lottery, Ed Liddy's number is 333-6060. That's advanced. Graduates, congratulations. God bless each and every one of you.